What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about how Canadians dress for winter. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tyler, calm down. It's not even October yet, for crying out loud. We don't need to start thinking about winter and snow and cold. Well, for us Americans, this stuff is just kind of fascinating, I gotta be honest, because for a lot of us down here, the winter is pretty mild. So today, I really want to learn about how Canadians dress for these intense, freezing Canadian winters. So let's take a look.
Many people complain about winters in Canada, and for many people, winter is a true nemesis. But we always say if you don't like wintertime, it's because you don't know how to handle it well, or maybe you don't know how to dress up warmly and properly.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
A coat is single-handedly the most important piece of item you want to own for winter.
Makes sense. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know what a coat is. Like, I might be American, but I've experienced snow. Honestly, it feels like there was more snow when I was a kid. I don't know if that's just nostalgia or what, or I did live a little further north when I was younger, so maybe that's it. But I have a coat. A coat. That's like the one I pull out for winter, so I don't know. Is this like kind of different in Canada with the coats?
These days, some people prefer having different coats for different types of temperatures.
What?
So if you're thinking of getting several coats too, depending on which province you want to live in, you can refer to the temperature ratings in the clothing brands that you're shopping for.
What is this? Okay. This is exactly what I'm talking about. What is this? You guys have multiple coats? You have a coat temperature rating? I didn't even know this was a thing. I've never heard of this. So you can actually select different coats based on how warm they make you? That is such a Canadian cold thing. Like, to me, a coat's a coat. Like, I have some hoodies and a coat for when it's cold. And if it's extra cold, I put on a hoodie, then a coat. That's like, I don't have like multiple coats, and this crazy.
Jackets and coats with down filling are the warmest, though heavier in weight and more expensive. But if you're looking for something lighter, cheaper and easier to dry, you can opt in for synthetic materials.
I, for instance, have one down jacket for temperatures from around +5 to around -10 degrees Celsius.
Oh my goodness, we're talking about Celsius, this made-up temperature scale. Nobody even uses it. I'm just kidding, but I don't really know Celsius. 0 degrees is freezing, though. I know that. So 5 must be pretty freaking cold. This is the kind of jacket that a lot of Americans have. Something exactly like this.
It's not thick, very light, and it keeps me warm thanks to down filling. If I were in Vancouver, this would probably be the only piece of winter clothing I need, plus an umbrella or a raincoat. But here in Ontario, it can get really cold in winter, even though it's not getting too cold too often. But for those times, I have a proper winter coat.
What is a proper winter coat? Is this what it is? Man, this coat looks hardy. And it actually has the fur, like the fuzzy fur around the hood. I thought that was just in movies or something. When you're like adventuring in Antarctica, your hood has fur. This is okay. I'm starting to get it. This is a very hardy looking coat.
Choosing a winter coat, make sure it's thick enough to keep you warm on bitterly cold winter days, especially if you live somewhere with humid air, like here next to the Lake Ontario.
Okay.
Because when it's windy, you can feel cold air creeping through your clothes everywhere.
Ugh.
Many winter coats are also wind and water resistant to keep you dry and warm during the snowstorms.
This looks nice. How much does a coat like this run you? Like, how expensive are these things? 'Cause it sounds like there's even special technology, you could say, built into these things.
When I was a kid growing up in Siberia, my mom would always remind me, keep your kidneys and genitourinary system warm. And as someone who grew up in Siberia, I had a first-hand experience with illnesses caused by freezing temperatures during
What?
winter. So I must caution you, keep your lungs, kidneys and genitourinary system warm because they're very sensitive to...
What? Okay. I didn't know about that. Is this stuff that you actually think about in Canada? She said she actually grew up in Siberia, which I think is pretty freaking cold. As soon as you start talking about keeping your kidneys warm, you live somewhere pretty cold. I have never thought about keeping specific areas of the body warmer or protected or... That is like next level.
cold temperatures.
Pay attention to how your coat covers your neck. If it doesn't do so properly, buy a scarf to keep the wind away from exposed skin.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess there are areas that are very sensitive to cold, like the neck, the ears, the gallbladder, or whatever she said.
Nothing feels worse than the cold wind that creeps underneath your jacket because your neck is exposed. We will talk about the importance of hats in a moment, but regardless of whether or not you like to wear hats in winter, make sure your coat has a hood. Having fur on your hood doesn't matter that much.
Oh.
It might give you a feeling that it protects you from wind.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me the fur doesn't matter. I think the fur is cool. I always wondered what the fur is for. The fur doesn't matter?
Better, but it's more like an aesthetic touch in my
I'm kind of disappointed about that.
opinion, rather than anything else. The depth and adjustability of your hood is a lot more important.
Many people
You can adjust your hood? Your jackets can be adjusted?
prefer winter parkas or waterproof ski jackets. If you prefer to be dressed more formally, you can choose long and heavy wool coats. Just make sure you're warm and comfortable enough.
If you were to take away one or two things from this video, is that the warmer your coat, the better, the longer your coat, the better, and it's always a good idea to have a high collar and a hood on your jacket.
A long coat? High collars? A hood is good, although I don't even think my coat does have a hood. It's definitely not long. People don't really wear a lot of long jackets here. Like, below your waist?
And remember, no one has ever gotten sick because they were too warm in winter.
A good quality winter coat for an
True.
adult might cost anywhere from 100 to 600 Canadian dollars.
Oh my god, I'll freeze. I'll freeze to death. It's okay. $600? This jacket better have like a campfire built into it. What are you talking about, $600 for a jacket?
And for a child, from $50 to $150.
The kids can freeze too. That's okay. Okay, get a winter hat. Is there... See, for most Americans, this stuff is like, we don't even really think this deeply about it. Maybe you guys don't either, or maybe this is just second nature to you, but a hat's a hat. Like, you get one for $1, like a little hat to go over your ears or something.
Unless you care for your hairstyle more than the danger of meningitis, I suggest you get a hat. And if you want to know more what meningitis is, you can just Google it. In short, meningitis is an infection of fluids surrounding your spinal cord and your brain that causes inflammation and swelling.
Is this actually a concern? Like, is Canadian winters, and I know it depends on where you live in Canada, does it get so cold that you're actually worried about some of these illnesses? That's kind of scary.
In cold weather, we lose most of our body heat through our heads. Covering your head helps prevent this heat loss. If you don't like wearing hats, you can choose headbands, earmuffs, or scarves, or at least your jacket's hood. like we mentioned a minute ago. Make sure
Man, that is a thick hood. I have never seen a hood so thick in real life.
to cover your ears, especially when it's windy, to avoid frostbite or earache, which can be very difficult to treat or heal completely. The warmest winter hats are made from wool. Cheaper options would be fleece or another synthetic material, but they
You guys even think about the material that your hood hats are made. I can't even speak. You're out there like considering the materials that it's made out of. Honestly, it's fascinating to me because it's becoming obvious to me. When you live in an area of the world where it gets so cold, you just start thinking about things that I have never considered or thought about in regards to winter or cold. And it's actually really interesting to hear about.
mittens and gloves can help you keep your hands warm. Mittens usually preserve the warmth better, because all your fingers work together to warm each other up.
Mittens! I can't remember the last time I saw an honest-to-God pair of mittens. Gloves. Plenty of Americans have gloves. I don't know why, but we're just not into the mittens. I only see that in, like, cartoons. But it makes a lot of sense. Your fingers are all together, probably warming each other up, or I don't know how it works, but we should get on the mitten track. Really.
The downside is they usually make it difficult for you to use your fingers and hands.
Right.
When playing outside, children often wear mittens because of their warmth and insulation.
I never had mittens growing up. I just realized. Never had it. And my fingers would get freezing. And I was in like very modest American winter growing up where like twice a year it might snow. And I remember my fingers would be freezing when I got back inside. And I think the answer was just get a pair of mittens. Boots.
As we keep traveling down south, let's talk about boots. Boots must keep your feet warm and dry.
Boots? You need a whole pair of like dedicated winter boots? This I have genuinely never had in my entire life. I've had coats, I've had gloves, I've had hats, maybe a scarf at some point, but never like boots. It's always just been shoes. Maybe when I was a little kid, when I was like jumping around, and I have a couple memories of being in snow as a kid. I must have had boots, little kid boots or something made of rubber. Anyway, but nowadays, I'm talking about adults now. Nobody is walking around in boots. We just have our shoes because it's just not necessary. And the thing is, a big crux of all this is when it does snow in America, no matter how north or south or whatever you are, when it does snow, a lot of Americans just stay inside. Stuff gets canceled. Work gets canceled. Nobody goes out. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to handle it. So there's no need for boots because we're not even gonna bother going out. A lot of this stuff is built around the necessity of Canadians going out and actually getting stuff done in the winter.
I don't recommend wearing sneakers for temperatures below 0 degrees. Their leather
Whoops.
can crack. They don't have enough insulation, and your feet will get instantly cold. And their soles aren't designed for snow and ice conditions, so they can be very slippery.
Low-cut boots are a little bit better because they cover your ankles.
Whoa. You can get shoes that are basically boots? Low-cut boots. No one told me about this.
High-cut boots can cover up to your knees.
Our advice is to get properly insulated boots that cover your ankles, and don't forget to wear warm socks. Do not
Oh my god, look at these socks. What are these socks made out of?
Do not wear short-cut cotton socks, because your feet and ankles would get instantly frozen.
This is the only kind of sock I own. I don't own any special winter socks.
Frozen.
Good quality boots for adults might cost anywhere between $100 to $200 and $30 to $70 for children. And if you want to get a really good pair of socks, expect to pay anywhere
Especially if they have what is that design? Like a chipmunk? Especially if they got like a chipmunk on it. That's got to cost extra.
between $20 to $40
$40 for socks,
per pair.
pants and underpants.
And if you decide to settle in a city where minus 20 degrees Celsius is a common occurring in the winter, we highly recommend you get insulated pants. Because in the end of the day, as you remember, it's
They sell insulated pants? Keep your genitory system warm? What is They said you need special underwear? What is a...
important to keep your genitourinary system warm. And at the same time,
Okay.
it's also very important to keep your knees warm, as the fluid in your knee joint is very sensitive to cold temperatures.
I mean, this is honestly really cool to learn about. It's just stuff I've never in my life thought about. And probably won't have to be honest, like, unless America suddenly gets colder, but it's been fascinating to just learn a bit about what Canadians go through and how expensive and how much stuff you need to be comfortable. And you gotta worry about your kidneys and your knees freezing, and it's crazy. But it was cool seeing this like glimpse into Canadian winter life. So I quite enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on how you should dress in the winter, especially if you're Canadian and you have any thoughts on this. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canadian things I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.